Skol Nation, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you will send shockwaves through every purple-blooded heart in Minnesota. Right now, there are three massive developments happening simultaneously that could either make or break our 2025 championship dreams. When you hear what's really going on behind closed doors at TCO Performance Center, you'll understand why this might be the most crucial offseason in Vikings history. We've got a quarterback situation more explosive than a Christian Ponder fumble, an offensive line gamble riskier than 4th and long against Green Bay, and a front office decision that has Aaron Rodgers himself questioning everything about our organization. The domino effect of these earth-shattering stories is about to change everything we thought we knew about Kevin O'Connell's master plan. Here's what's got me fired up: Skol Nation. One of our most expensive free agent signings might be heading straight for disaster, involving an $88 million decision that could haunt us for 5 years. Meanwhile, our coaching staff made a statement so bold about our young quarterback that it shut down conversations with a future Hall of Famer who was practically begging to wear purple and gold. Smash that like button if you bleed purple and gold. Drop a Skol in the comments if you're ready for this wild ride. Subscribe now, because this is about to get absolutely insane. The first bombshell involves a player whose injury history has everyone from Minneapolis to Mankato holding their breath. The second revelation will blow your mind about how close we came to the most shocking quarterback signing in franchise history. The third story will make you question everything about our depth chart heading into training camp. Let's break down this absolute madness. Skol Nation. Skol Nation. Meet Will Freeze, the man who just became the center of the most controversial signing in recent Vikings history. This Indianapolis Colts refugee walked away with a staggering 5-year, $88 million contract. And here's the kicker: he's coming off a broken leg that completely derailed his 2024 season. Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah looked at our offensive line and said, "We need to fix this now, or J.J. McCarthy is going to get demolished." So they threw nearly $90 million at a guard who might not even be ready for training camp. This isn't just any ordinary injury recovery. We're talking about a franchise-changing investment in a player whose entire future is hanging by a thread. The terrifying part? Our coaching staff can't guarantee when Freeze will be ready. O'Connell admitted they're targeting training camp for his return, which means we have no idea if this guy can still play elite football. We're talking about a tibia injury, not a twisted ankle, but the kind that changes careers. The medical staff is being extremely cautious, and rightfully so, because one wrong move could turn this expensive signing into a catastrophic mistake. Here's what's keeping me up at night. Indianapolis, who knew Freeze better than anyone, looked at his injury and price tag and said, "No thank you." They handed us their problem and laughed to the bank. The Colts basically said, "Good luck with that massive contract and questionable health status." Now we're stuck with a player who'll take a beating every snap, protecting our franchise quarterback while recovering from a leg injury that could flare up anytime. The domino effect is starting. We brought back Christian Darrisaw, missed half last season with major injury, drafted Donovan Jackson, and added Justin School and Ryan Kelly. It's like building a hospital ward instead of an offensive line. The entire offensive line strategy feels more like desperation than calculated planning. This offensive line chaos is just the beginning of an even more unbelievable story. Hold on to your purple jerseys, Skol Nation. While we focused on offensive line moves, secret conversations were happening between our organization and Aaron Rodgers himself. This story is absolutely mind-blowing and will change how you view our front office's championship strategy forever. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the 4-time MVP was practically shopping himself to us after his Jets release. But here's the plot twist. Our front office never got close to offering him a contract, and the reason will either make you proud or furious. The conversations happened, but they were more exploratory than serious negotiations, which tells us everything about where our priorities really lie. Rodgers looked at our roster, coaching staff, and receiving corps and thought, "This could be my championship team." He saw Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Kevin O'Connell's system and said, "I want in." The veteran quarterback was genuinely interested in what we're building in Minnesota, and honestly, who could blame him? But our front office had one response that sent shockwaves through the league. Thanks, but no thanks. We believe in J.J. McCarthy. Think about that. We had a chance to bring in a guaranteed Hall of Famer, multiple MVP winner, Super Bowl champion, and we said no because we believe in a second-year player who missed his entire rookie season with a torn meniscus. That's either the most confident front office move in NFL history or the most reckless gamble we've ever made. The entire league is watching to see if this decision will haunt us or vindicate our faith in youth. Schefter revealed the interest was more on Aaron's side, and conversations never got overly serious because there's a lot of belief in that building in McCarthy. Our front office told one of the greatest quarterbacks ever that they'd rather roll dice on a 22-year-old who's never taken a meaningful NFL snap. Jeremy Fowler confirmed that Rodgers saw this as a perfect 3-year championship window, but we chose to bet on potential overproven excellence. They worried bringing in Rodgers would be threatening to JJ and wanted someone to complement McCarthy instead. We're building around a completely unproven quarterback while Rodgers signed with Pittsburgh. This decision will either look brilliant or catastrophic by season's end. And if you think that quarterback drama is over, wait until you hear about the battle brewing for our backup positions. Skol Nation, prepare for the most heartbreaking story of this offseason. We've got a quarterback situation that's going to tear at Minnesota football's soul, involving a player whose name should be celebrated, but instead might be heading for the practice squad. This story perfectly encapsulates everything frustrating about modern NFL roster management and our apparent inability to recognize homegrown talent. Meet Max Brosmer, the former Minnesota Gophers standout who just completed one of the most impressive seasons in recent Gophers history. This hometown hero threw for 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions while completing 66% of his passes. He led the Gophers through one of their most successful seasons in years, showing the kind of leadership and poise that translates perfectly to the professional level. But according to Purple Daily podcast analyst Judd Zulgad, Brosmer is currently on the outside looking in for even making our roster. Here's the brutal part. We're potentially cutting a quarterback who dominated the Big Ten while keeping Brett Rypien, a career backup who has 4 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions in 10 NFL games. Rypien is 4 years older and has bounced from Denver to LA to Minnesota. But somehow he's got the edge for our QB3 spot. This makes absolutely no sense from a talent development or long-term planning perspective, and it's the kind of decision that will have us kicking ourselves in 2 years. Our quarterback depth behind J.J. McCarthy is held together with duct tape. Sam Howell, our supposed backup, is on his 3rd team before his rookie contract expires. This is a guy who couldn't establish himself in Washington or Seattle, and now he's our insurance policy. Zulgad revealed Howell is essentially competing against himself, and that we might still replace him. The entire backup situation feels like we're playing musical chairs with mediocrity, while ignoring genuine potential, sitting right in front of us. Brosmer represents everything Skol Nation loves. Homegrown, proven, with leadership qualities that made him successful at Minnesota. He knows the Twin Cities, understands the pressure, and has already proven he can perform under the bright lights of college football. But instead of giving him a shot, we're prioritizing veterans who've shown they're not championship level. The irony is that we're potentially cutting the most promising young quarterback to come out of Minnesota in years while complaining about lack of depth. What happens if McCarthy gets injured again? We could be looking at Rypien as our starter, while Brosmer sits on someone else's practice squad, watching his NFL dreams slip away because we couldn't recognize the talent that was right in front of us. This decision could haunt us for years if Brosmer develops elsewhere. SKOL Nation, we need your voices. Smash that like button if you think we're making the right moves. Comment your thoughts on these bombshells. Subscribe because this promises to be the most dramatic season in Vikings history. These 3 stories are connected in ways that could define our future. We've got an $88 million injured gamble, protecting a quarterback we chose over Aaron Rodgers while potentially cutting the most talented young quarterback to come out of Minnesota in years. What do you think, Skol Nation? Are we championship bound or heading for disaster?